all these discussions take us to the important aspect of knowledge management. We are told and we have seen that we are in the era of knowledge. The knowledge can be also referred as information. Information technology, information which has been in currency for the last maybe 2 decades. But the word knowledge management has come about only in maybe less than a decade, or maybe probably last, maybe 5 to 6 years. Knowledge management officer, KMOs. What is this knowledge management? Why it is so important? It has been mentioned now, knowledge would be the resource for the future now. Till yesterday we are talking about human resources as the resource, human being as the resource, capital as the resource, computer as the resource, and other machines, resources have been many, but now they are saying knowledge. Knowledge would be the resource for the future. That means those who have got the knowledge will be able to march ahead of others. That has been the case from time immemorial also. You take the case of war strategy. Books which are written some 2,000, 3,000 years also talk about strategies and all based on knowledge. Those who have got knowledge in the past, present and future will always have an edge over others who lacks the knowledge. Organizations are therefore taking steps to manage both knowledge and information for its own growth. A new post is created by many banks, of course, called Chief Learning Officer in recent years. It was not there. 5 years back there was, I remember somebody was attending General Manager Change Management, Chief Learning Officers. Somebody is having Knowledge Management Officer. New designations have come about to focus that knowledge has taken the center stage. More so, knowledge workers have joined us. Having understood the majority of the profile of the workers consists of knowledgeable people, we should be able to manage them adequately. So hence the importance of knowledge management. So it has been said, knowledge management is a vital task in organizations. Knowledge management refers to the process of creating knowledge, storing knowledge, distributing knowledge, and pooling it. It's not as we simply understand knowledge, manage the knowledge. No. Every organization is sitting on knowledge, or called information, which is not now available, which is not now known, which is the most intangible asset, which is there inside the brain of each and every one of the employees, the current and the past. Past, of course, we can't do anything now. And what about the current employees? So long as they are with you, the knowledge is available for your organization. The moment they leave the organization, the knowledge is lost for the organization. That is how now this subject has come about. Knowledge management talks about the knowledge available with the individuals when they are with you, either in employment or, till retirement or before they move out. How do you capture it? How do you pool it? That is what is called creating knowledge. Creating knowledge means that a document is created, a manual is created, so that the processes are created, captured with the help of the knowledgeable people, so that the knowledge is captured and stored. That can be stored for even future. Even most of us work in banks, as you know very well, with manuals, which is prepared by somebody else. How the manual is prepared? Based on the knowledge of people who have worked in the past. So similarly, an effort should be made by HR, a systematic effort to record, document the knowledge of the current level of people. Once they retire and go out, it will be impossible to capture that knowledge. So knowledge is something like a perishable product. Either you capture it or you lose it. For this, identifying the knowledge worker is necessary. Effort should be made to pool the knowledge. In fact, many of the knowledge workers, knowledge people, opt for faculty or in research department or where this can be documented. But institutions should make it a policy to encourage people to share their information, whatever method it is, so that that can be captured and there should be a system to reward them and acknowledge them, and more so, document them. Efforts should be made to pool the knowledge. This is the need of the hour. Attrition of staff is why? Why knowledge management is important? Because attrition of staff is high in organization due to change of jobs and even retirement. Banking industry, as all of you know, is undergoing such a transition. In the next 5 years, it has been said, almost 50% of the current staff will not be working. So in the decade 2010 to 2020, almost 50 to 60% of the people will be leaving the organization. The percentage keeps on varying. What to say is, the majority of the experienced people will be leaving. How do we capture that experience? So long as they work very well. But once they move, you are not knowing how they have been done. The junior person will not be able to capture it so fast because it takes time to understand the various types of operations. One day, 2 days, it will not be possible. It takes time to mature. It takes time to season. So it is necessary that knowledge is captured as fast as possible. Hence the need and urgency to capture the available knowledge pool and document it for future. Document it. This is where the Westerners have an edge over us. You take the case of anything, even a mobile. You see, after all, we have been using most of these products from abroad. And everything is backed by a huge manual. The manual runs into pages. Many of us do not even look at it. We just look into 1 or 2 operations. How many of us know the full utility of even the mobile which we are carrying? We may be interested in a couple of operations, but somebody has captured it so beautifully in their manual. If only we have got the inclination and the interest to look at it. Same case with banks. The banking function may be happening at the branch level with a few operations. And we feel we know it and we feel we are comfortable. You know. And the lesser the knowledge, the more they are comfortable. They feel, I know what you know at the age of 20, vis-a-vis a person who is around 60. 20 is comfortable because whatever he is doing, he is comfortable. But there are so many things which he may not be knowing. How the knowledge can be transferred from a person of 60 to a person of 20. It's a great challenge. And to assuming that a 20 fellow will be having the knowledge and the wisdom of 60 will be little far-fetched. Only time will prove which is right or wrong. So hence the need and urgency to capture the available knowledge pool and document it for future. Banks in various parts of the country, even in the world, so many activities are taking place. But for sharing, we would not be aware of it. Take the case of the Nigerian scam, for instance. How many people have been fooled by the Nigerian scheme, the lottery scheme? All of us have got, mobile, winning of lotteries and lotteries. And how many people have lost money? That has prompted Reserve Bank of India to issue advisories. They don't act on it. How many of you have got mails from different banks stating update your details and other things? And all of us may be thinking that, oh, it does not affect me or I am not affected. But how many people have lost money? Why did they and how did they lose money? All educated people, not illiterates. What does it show? It shows the knowledge was not pooled. It was not shared. It was not made available so that the person without that knowledge lost his money. In India, it was reported, a person who was a very senior official in one of our defense forces, lost 20 lakhs of rupees under the Nigerian lottery scheme before it was complained to the banking or the authorities concerned. So if that is a case of educated individual, what to speak about people who lacks even basic education? So the frauds and crimes are on the rise because the information is not properly shared. So that is again the knowledge management comes into the focus. In banks with large number of new entrants and massive retirement, knowledge management will help to gather vital knowledge for the training of such newcomers. It doesn't require any repetition. But are we doing it? It's a question. If this opportunity is lost, the loss to the banks will be immense. So I feel wherever it is possible that we must have sessions to capture the knowledge. The other day in a seminar, somebody was telling that the bank should help to document good advances as also bad advances. Good advances only to say that how the advance has been managed. That is not very important. What is important is about bad advances, how the advance has gone bad, what went into it, what are the factors. If that is documented and shared amongst the bankers, it's possible that similar mistakes may not be repeated. What happens in regard to our country and the world also, most of the mistakes are only a repetition of past mistakes. What happened in America today, tomorrow it will happen in India, and what happened in India today may happen in Nigeria tomorrow or some other country. If there is perfect information system, which of course is not possible, at least if there is near perfect information system, near perfect knowledge management, many of these losses could be averted. In regard to knowledge management, we saw its importance to organization and to nation itself. Let's come back to a case study from Japan. Japanese companies have strategies to create new knowledge, disseminate it through the organization, and embody it in products, services, and systems. This is what is most important thing, embody it in the system. Now, most of us have used Japanese products, and we know how systematic they are in regard to their products on the one side and also on the instructions on the other side. That probably because they have been able to document the knowledge for their own business growth. Nowadays, even banks and others have started developing detailed manuals as part of knowledge management. Much remains to be done. The scope is unlimited. As the knowledge keeps on improving, increasing world over, I am sure the subject is going to come back to haunt us if we are left behind. Take the case of individuals like us, wherever we are working. If we are not keeping track of our own subject, even say for a week, we will be totally outdated. Then what to speak about people who have stopped reading and upgrading themselves. In a seminar the other day, one of the participants said that we work from morning till night and we have to look after the family and other responsibilities, and when we will get time to upgrade ourselves. Promptly the reply was given was, even despite all these particular compulsions, you must find time to update yourself. If you don't update, you will be totally outdated. Stop reading newspaper for 1 week or even the other minute. You will feel when you come back to operations what all you have missed. The information explosion is so high, especially in regard to any field, including banking. If we miss something, you must make an endeavor to catch up with that. Don't allow it to die, because you don't know the information which you have missed on a particular day may be so vital for your career, sometimes even for your promotion. Now, this is very, very important from the angle of future managers. Why do you finally pass this examination, as I mentioned in another context, to become better in our own self? So knowledge management finally has got different dimensions. We are all managers even today. If nothing else, we manage ourselves, I hope. There is no instance of somebody saying that I don't manage myself. There are so many people who are not able to manage themselves. Look at the road rages. There was a news item the other day. A boy of 20 stabbed a man of 56 just because both their vehicles had a minor accident. For a small minor accident, a boy of 20 stabs another fellow to death. Where we have come to. Can we say that we are managing ourselves? Many cases we are not able to manage. So first and foremost in knowledge management, this is related to both the things. HRM, ultimately when we talk about human resource management, if you have to manage say 40,000 staff members or 40 staff members or 4 staff members or even 1 staff member, we must have that particular thing. First self-manage, of which we will talk a little more in the other modules, in the other units to follow. We should know how to manage self. Then managing a small team. If you are in a branch, you may have 2-3 people. If you are in a rural branch, it could be 1, 2 or 3. But if you are in semi-urban, maybe 10 or 15. Or if in metro, it will be 30, 40. If it is a big branch, it could be even 500 or even 1,000. There are branches with 1,000 people on the one side, and there are branches with 2 or 3 persons. So manage small team. So it starts from self-management and managing small teams, then comes to managing of managers and managing regions and managing functional heads across, then managing enterprises. Take the case of a chairman of Tata's, for example, Cyrus Mistry. He has to manage how many companies of, managing directors of huge companies. So like that, when you talk about managing, what role we will have to play in the days to come, we cannot say at this point of time. Take the case of the, big leaders, leading multinational institution. In all this, game plays a role. Now let us come to a very important point in regard to HRM, human resource management. Every bank should know, every HR manager should know that what type of workers are around them. Workers have been classified in one study into 4 or 5 heads. They say when a worker joins, when a new person comes, new entrant comes, he has come in a very enthusiastic manner, highly enthusiastic. That all of us know that when we join an organization, we got a lot of enthusiasm. So that is the first called enthusiastic worker. The second one, they say, he becomes a disillusioned. He or she, getting a job is important. After getting the job, you find this is not what I wanted. So within 5 or 6 months, he or she gets disillusion. Second called disillusion. Now third comes, that is the most important and dangerous thing, the reluctant workers. You have no option to go anywhere. You continue either till retirement or for whatever period of time. Reluctant contributors. They come in time, go in time, and do the minimum work. Can an organization grow with such people? Even a country can grow with such people? It's a difficult question to answer. Then come self-motivated people. There are few people who are self-motivated. In fact, most of the leaders, if you look at it, it is a self-motivation which has prompted them. You take the case of a person like Nelson Mandela. He was in the jail for over 27 years. And when he came out of 27 years, he was not carrying all bitterness. That is what the study shows, and that is what we have seen. He has come out with such a positivity, and he led South Africa into greater heights. So here the point here is, such people are self-motivated. You take any person for that matter, any successful person, it's not that others are motivated in majority of the cases. It was a case of self-motivation. So even in the bank you will find a small portion will be self-motivated, and that portion you must increase. And when they become self-motivated, they become star performers. So in every organization there are some few star performers. Every banks have got what is called successful managers forum. They are sent abroad. They are given recognitions and other things. But how many of them? If there are branch with 4,000 branches, 40 people or 20 people become star performers. What about the remaining 3,960 branch managers? Can we have a situation where majority are belonging to 1, 2 or 3 third category? We must have a system to motivate each and every one. How do we bring that particular motivation? How do we people to make work for it passionately? Look at the Independence Day. Mahatma Gandhi could to harness the support from each and every one of this particular country. How they became passionate? Because they want the independence actually. It's not because somebody directed. They worked for the country. That passion has to be built in. We must get the passion that our bank must become the number 1 bank in the world. When any of the Indian bank will become the number 1 bank in the world? A question I have asked myself somewhere in the 80s. When an Indian bank will become in the Fortune 500 or somewhere, the number 1 bank in the world? Well, we are not even entered the first 50. Where is the question of entering number 1? So that is a big challenge. We are all bankers and we must start thinking about it. How do we have a workforce that we become the number 1 in whatever we are? So this is the particular challenge before the HRM today. IT can be utilized, the knowledge can be utilized, the information can be utilized. Whatever possible must be utilized to bring a large number of people into star performers and ensure that the percentage in the reluctant category comes down. If majority becomes reluctant, I think there is a problem for that institution. So, couple of MCQ. The purpose of KM is, knowledge management is, enhance learning related to present job, enhance learning towards all related subjects, ensure growth of the organization, all the above. If you tick any one is also correct, but the correct answer is all the above. So from the examination angle, you must always, when an HR question is asked, you must think twice before giving the tick, because all may appear correct. So if you tick item number 3, you are correct, but you cannot come back and say that why I not got the answer, because we would have put it in bracket, select the most appropriate. Which of the following is not used in e-learning? All of you know very well. Animation software is used, image processing is used, video conferencing is used, classroom discussion is not used. In e-learning, there is no classroom face-to-face interactions. Now let's come to something end of this particular unit here. This is capturing knowledge is a great challenge.
Module C, topic 25, take 7, action.
This takes us to an important aspect of capturing knowledge. Though it may appear very simple, capturing knowledge is not that easy, as outlined earlier. This is a great challenge. Strategy needed to tap the latent information. Banks have huge information at different locations. In every seminar it has been expressed, banks are not doing sufficiently to make use of the information they are having. If only that could be documented and shared, the benefit will be immense. Intangible asset, once lost, lost forever. So friends, the importance of IT, all of you understood. You are already aware of it. You are actually facing it. You are actually doing it. The core banking solution, which has become a great boon, which has helped us to render services seamlessly. The financial inclusion challenges are being confronted confidently because of the support from IT. The IT is also playing a huge role in the management of the HR, and we are very happy that subjects like KM has come to the fore, and we will be able to use it for our organizational growth. Institution have to use this particular knowledge management for their growth and also organizational growth. Like in Japan, because always we quote Japan because their own success in many fields. Like in Japan, systematic and focused attention on KM is called for. It is hoped that each one of us, when we got a role, when we come to occupy a position, whether in HR department or in the branch or in the region or in the zone, that any knowledge information comes, please ensure that that is captured, motivate people to capture it, encourage people to capture it, document it, and share it with your friends. That will be a great service. Thank you.